Hey guys, in this video I'd like to review a book called Surely You're Joking, Mr. Feynman, which is an autobiography by Richard Feynman, a great physicist, Nobel Prize winner, and really interesting character. And I actually found this out very recently, but this book wasn't written by Feynman. It was actually written by his friend, and it was the result of his and his friend's conversations, which were taped. And yeah, I read this, I think, a while ago, probably a few weeks back, probably even more than that. But I really loved it. It's such an amazing book. You will not believe it. You know, the stories, the anecdotes that you will read, you'll simply find this book an amazing read. You know, I can't say I've really read many autobiographies before, because I don't recall I did. I remember reading the Sam Walton's biography, and that was fun, but I'm not sure if I ever read any other biographies. But this one, it's not really like a biography in a sense, you know, that it's chronological, and it outlines the whole story of the person. No, it's more like it's just a collection of, you know, short stories, anecdotes told by Richard, and they are amazing. They are just so fun to read, and so funny and so interesting. They are really hilarious, and I'll just read some of them to you, so that you know what I'm talking about. Okay, listen to this one. They told me to come back in a few months, so I came back when the engineers had finished the design of the plant. Now it was for me to look at the plant. How do you look at the plant that isn't built yet? I don't know. Lieutenant Zumwalt, who was always coming around with me because I had to have an escort everywhere, takes me into this room where there are these two engineers and a long table covered with a stack of blueprints representing the various floors of the proposed plant. I took mechanical drawing when I was in school, but I am not good at reading blueprints. So they unroll the stack of blueprints and start to explain it to me, thinking I am a genius. Now, one of the things they had to avoid in the plant was accumulation. They had problems like when there's an evaporator working, which is trying to accumulate the stuff. If the valve gets stuck or something like that, and too much stuff accumulates, it'll explode. So they explained to me when this plant is designed so that if any one valve gets stuck, nothing will happen. It needs at least two valves everywhere. Then they explain how it works. The carbon tetrachloride comes in here, the uranium nitrate from here comes in here, it goes up and down, it goes up through the floor, comes up through the pipes, coming up from the second floor, blurp, going through the stack of blueprints, down up, talking very fast, explaining the very, very complicated chemical plant. I am completely dazed. Worse, I don't know what the symbols on the blueprint mean. There is some kind of a thing that at first I think is a window. It's a square with a little cross in the middle, all over the damn place. I think it's a window, but no, it can't be a window because it isn't always at the edge. I want to ask them what it is. You must have been in a situation like this when you didn't ask them right away. Right away it would have been okay, but now they've been talking a little bit too long. You hesitated too long. If you ask them now, they'll say, "What are you wasting my time all this time for?" What am I going to do? I get an idea. Maybe it's a valve. I take my finger and I put it down on one of the mysterious little crosses in the middle of one of the blueprints on page 3, and I say, "What happens if this valve gets stuck?" Figuring they're gonna say, "That's not a valve, sir, that's a window." So one looks at the other and says, wow, if that valve gets stuck and he goes up and down on the blueprint, up and down, the other guy goes up and down, back and forth, and they both look at each other. They turn around to me and they open their mouths like astonished fish and say, you're absolutely right, sir. So they rolled out the blueprints and away they went, and we walked out. And Mr. Zumwalt, who had been following me all the way through, said, you're a genius. I get the idea you were a genius when you went through the plan once and you could tell them about evaporator C21 in building 9207 the next morning, he says. But what you have done just now is fantastic. I want to know how. How do you have that? I told him you try to find out whether it's a valve or not. I mean, this is just an example of a story, you know, he gives. And this book is filled with stories like that. I don't remember when was the last time I laughed so hard and so many times whilst reading a book. So, yeah, well, anyway, other than the funny stories, he sometimes would say a few really valuable things like the first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. So you have to be very careful about that. After you've not fooled yourself, it's easy not to fool other scientists. You just have to be honest in a conventional way after that. Yeah, so it's an amazing book. I truly recommend it. You should read it, you'll love it, and I will put links to this book in the description, so go ahead and read it, and I hope you enjoy it. See you in the next video, guys. Bye bye.